Hello, 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 and welcome back to another monthly goal setting session. There are some very strange noises going on outside my house. I presume that is trick or treating. Um, but I went out for Halloween last week, so for me, Halloween's over. Done. Done and dusted. And I am totally ready to get on with all the fabulousness for November. November's monthly goal setting sessions often a funny one as well because we do our yearly goal setting and November as well. So next week we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings, um, slightly earlier sessions than normal. I think like 6 or 6:30. They're on the Google Calendar, and I will make sure the links are added. I hope the next day or so as well. And then there's a fifth session. The moment it's on the 29th, and the monthly goal setting for December is on the 28th. I might look at switching those around, but it will be those 2 nights. I just need to think which one logically makes sense because they've happened to fall right next to each other this year. But let's get on with our plans for November. Um, Today's session, we are going to check in on last month's goals and how we are doing with all of those. We're all aware it's been an interesting couple of months for me. So luckily I didn't set very many for last month. It was a nice relaxing month, I think. I need to go back over them. I looked at them earlier, now I'm a complete brain freeze over it. We're going to do our monthly brain drain. We're going to look at building our monthly calendar overview. We're going to look at reading over our yearly goals, particularly as this is it. This is the last month to get them done. Really, I always take it as 11-month year for yearly goals, to have a little bit of a bit more chill, bit more Christmas time, bit more family time, bit more whatever time, friends time in December, with the like slight exception of if there's those kind of goals that like read every day or something, or drink more water every day of the week. Like I'll keep those going through December, but I want to have achieved most of the things that can be that aren't a continuous type project before the end of November. And then I can also use December as a little bit of prep time for next year's goals. So if there's things you need to order in or prep a space or whatever it might be, or just get your head around or start a start a habit. If one of your goals for next year ends up being a habit-based one, it can be quite nice to start that habit in December, but like really like being so kind with yourself about if it's really sporadic. I'm just letting it be. So we then work through our setting our personal goals, setting our professional goals, setting our family, friend, home goals. And then, as always, if we've got time, we go over some additional bonus steps to support those goals as well. So let's get into a drink. So we are looking at checking in on last month's goals. We've got our little do's up here. We've also obviously got the tick. So if it's done, you just tick it. But the little key for the other items, we're going to put a little arrow to the right if we're moving it on to next month, a little arrow to the left if we're moving it back to our long-term to-do list. We're going to put a cross next to it if we are no longer doing it for whatever reason. Maybe no longer suits us, or it's just not. We missed the deadline, and it's just not. The deadline won't come around again. We can't extend it. It's just done. It's just done, and that's okay. And then we've also got we'll be finishing this month is our hashtag one. However, we are this month, this session is the very last day of the month, so we shouldn't really have any hashtag ones unless it's something you're going to finish up this evening. So obviously there's that as a caveat. If it's something like a nighttime routine and you're like, so I'm going to hashtag it, just tick it. I'm giving you permission. If you're going to do it after this session, you're definitely going to do it. Have faith in yourself, and you can just put tick on it. That's absolutely fine. So let's have 4 minutes on the clock to check in on last month's goals. moving on. So this is the page where you've got the line with writing in which month you are, if you are in the book, or just get a piece of paper and write the month in the middle. And we're looking at doing a bit of a brain drain. We talked last month about trigger lists, and that it can be quite helpful to have a trigger list. The basic trigger list for a brain drain in this capacity is thinking about personal items, thinking about professional items, and thinking about family, friend, home related items. You can then have little sub lists for your trigger list as well if you so desire. And we will be doing a little bit more on trigger lists. I was hoping that we would get it done before the end of this year, but as many of you know, there's been a lot going on this end. So hasn't. But I'm practicing a lot of self care, so I'm not going to beat myself up about it. But we will do those at some point, I promise. Excuse me. So grab a pen, and if you've got your book. If not, a piece of paper. Write the month in the middle, and then you can also use like reference, looking at your diary, looking at your calendar, things like that, to spark any thoughts about this month. But thinking your way through the month, what is coming up, what have you got to get done, all those kind of bits and pieces. So there you go. next up, we are running into our monthly calendar overview. So obviously, first and foremost, we need to put in the dates on this one. If you are using your book, still blurry. Actually, I can unblur now because I actually painted the wall behind me. Isn't that exciting? So exciting. Let's try unblurring. See? Beautiful. Much less distracting than the weird, crazy green situation that was going on there. And do that. Slowly. I mean, the other side of the room is not. I've just got the wall behind me and that wall to the side of me. I need to move all the furniture and everything that side of the room so I can finish stripping the wallpaper this side. But hey ho, we'll get there in the end. So where are we? We are on this one, the one with the grid. We need to put the date in first and foremost. So where are we? Who am I? And what is going on? It's the 31st day on a Tuesday, so that means that the 1st of November will be a Wednesday. Nine 30. I want those written. So we're going to start with 2 minutes on the clock to add in any key personnel events that we have coming up in November. Next up, we're going to do another 2 minutes, but this time we're going to be focusing on any professional events that we've got coming up. So 2 minutes to add those professional events to our overview calendar. There we go. And lastly, 2 minutes on the clock for family, friends, home related events. Going onto your calendar. So next up, we need to pull up those yearly goals. Oh, let's see how they're doing. Um, Smile and nod, smile and wave, boys. They go wishing past. Um, not normally my vibe. To be quite so blasé about the fact that I haven't achieved them. I suppose there's a little bit of smiling through the pain with those ones, but actually we're not too far off. Anyway, so we're going to have 2 minutes on the clock just to read through the list of our yearly goals and see if it refresh our minds what it was this time last year that we decided we wanted to get done with 2023. So 2 minutes on the clock, reading our yearly goals through. actually wasn't as bad as I thought, because what happened to me this year is a lot of my goals that I'd set back in November last year had become irrelevant. So, yay! There is still hope. There is still hope for me actually being able to achieve the ones that are still relevant of my goal list. Yeah, there's still hope. There's still hope. Which is kind of cool. Yeah, kind of cool. I'm quite happy with that. I think the one that's probably not realistic is reading. I have 15 books this year I wanted to read, and I'm quite behind on the book reading front this year. And there's been lots of little starting books and not getting all the way through. Because the reason I chose to read those books, or felt like I needed to nourish that bit of my brain, like the thing changed, and I no longer wanted to nourish that bit of my brain. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to start a new book. So never mind. Hey ho. Let's get on with setting our personal goals for November. So 5 minutes on the clock. Remember, we're setting a maximum of 3. It can be less, but it can't be more, and they need to be specific and tick offable, and they need to have a maximum of 3 steps each. So if one of your personal goals, has more than 3 steps, you need to break it down into more than one goal. Ooh. Woo. It's as simple as that. I like to do this with a pencil so I can move things around. So we've got monthly goals for November here. Big events and deadlines. Big events are our yearly goal setting. One in there. That's also a big event, and my deadlines for the year, all wrapped up in one. And things I must remember and other notes about this month. Really. To add that, that Christmas is coming. Like winter is coming. And I will be starting back the podcast with a little bit of difference, is that there will be a lot of reflection on what's happened over the summer months and the previous years, like the last couple of years leading up to what happened over the summer months and things. So I'm going to use this next series to basically share more of my personal story of this next chapter of what the heck is a happy lifestyle. So hopefully I will get an episode of that out before the end of this week. But that's one of my jobs for tomorrow, is to go through and sort out my new schedule for things. So there's that. So let's go. Personal goal setting, maximum of 3 goals, and maximum of 3 steps per goal. So it can be less, can't be more. Here we go. So next up, doing the exact same thing, but we are going to be moving on to our professional goals. So maximum of 3 again, our professional goals with those 3 steps. Remembering what our yearly goals were, looking back on that so that we are making sure that we are going to hit those yearly goals that we set ourselves. Last but by no means least, we are moving on to our family, friends, and home goals. This is probably the one where I kind of need to put the most in, really. Because I really, really want to have like the house put together for Christmas, or at least like the big main rooms, the big rooms, the dining room and the sitting room, and the kitchen to do Christmas baking in would be really, really so. Um, yes, that's where a lot of my focus will be on. In this coming month, Christmas is so close. I don't think I've ever been this disorganized Christmas, so that's fun. But hey ho. Right, let's go for it. 5 minutes on the clock. here we have it. So that looks like a lovely relaxing one. It doesn't. But I want to end on a high. I'm gonna end on a, which to be honest is gonna be hard after the fear I've had, but never mind. The only way is up, baby. Um, so having a think about what else could you do to help you achieve your goals for this month? What other things can you put in place to make sure that they are going to happen? What are the timers? What are the supports? What other accountability? All those kind of things. Are you going to make sure that you commit to checking in the WhatsApp group every day with how you're getting on with them? Are you going to declare them in one of the groups within the membership? Like, what is it that you're going to do to help make sure that these goals actually happen? So we're going to spend, we've got 5 more minutes before the actual end. So we're just going to spend a couple more minutes thinking through what else could we do for each of these goals, and just sort of, you can annotate the page. What is it that we can do to make sure that these goals are going to happen? Like, how can we rally the troops, be it in our heads rallying the troops, or is it that we actually need to rally some physical troops to come and help get things done? Like, what is it going to be that's going to help make these things happen for you? So I'm just going to put myself on mute, and I haven't got time for this one because it's just a bonus bit. And yeah, just take the last couple of minutes and think about what is it that you can do to help support each of these goals. And there we have it. So if you've got a few annotated notes about what ways you can support achieving those goals now over this next month. We've got our monthly goal setting is coming up next monthly. Yearly goal setting is coming up next week. So that'll be running Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening. And then there's another one, like I said, on either the 28th or 29th. So at the moment, we've got the monthly goal setting on the 28th with the yearly goal setting final session on the 29th. But I might switch the two of them around. But either way, if you've got both dates in your diary, you're all good. And all the uploads will go on there. And as I mentioned in the WhatsApp group, I'm going to be doing 30 days of mini declutters throughout November, which I'll be doing as little Instagram lives. I haven't got a very, that's so stable. It's stable. It's just fluctuating. Got a very fluctuating schedule from day to day. So it's similar week to week, but not day to day. So there isn't a set time each day that I can do it. That's obvious unless I'm like 10 o'clock at night every day. And even then, that's not always possible. And update you on the podcast about why sometimes even 10 o'clock at night isn't working right now. But have an amazing, where are we? Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Have an amazing rest of Halloween if that's your jam. And I'm going to pause the recording and just have a chat for a minute as well before I go. But I will pause the recording now and see those of you watching on replay. See you soon. Bye for now.